afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, a host, Imperial Dane, Master of Propaganda, Heroes like Defender of the Fatherland. Off with an exciting 1v1 on Kholodny Ferma. Between these, we got Caesar fighting for the Oberkommandus Germany, Deutschland, taking on the role here of the 12th SS Panzerdivision Hitlerjugend versus in the west we got Negan fighting here for the British, the Commonwealth, rolling out here with the 11th Armoured Division. We're looking at Spec Ops, Scavenge and Breakthrough, double infantry gun here for Caesar versus Rolling Engineers, Commander Regiment and Royal Artillery for Negan with double infantry and a single sabre bulletin. He's heading out here for an aggressive double section start, both players rushing for the compartment here. In this case though, Negan gets the upper hand over Caesar, gets into the house, so while he might be able to secure the munitions, he can't really pressure the rest of the territory at all. So he's eventually have to fall back from it. In fact, he immediately decides to do so before, he risks losing team members here. In fact, tries to draw him out into the open where he might be able to do some more damage. But the problem is, at long range, the Sturmpaniers are not very efficient, of course. Without cover, the section's not efficient either, so this is a bit of a weird situation. But there you go, gets killed on the Sturmpioneer. Kuban following up to help Caesar grab territory. Sandbags cut off on there, secured. We got University following up there for Negan. And there you go, he just falls back with the Sturmpaniers not willing to risk anymore versus him. Oh, look, never mind. Looks like he's going to try and rush him here, catch him off guard, and I don't know if that's going to help him out much. Securing the centre here with another section. University moving up, so this means Negan is not going to be able to grab his fuel, whereas Caesar can. Interesting move there. He's leaving the Volksgrenadiers to grab the points for rushing into the Kubelwagen against Negan. He might be hoping to sort of harass and act to make it hard for him to get his own fuel, which I suppose is an option there, though seems a bit weird. Following up with Kholodny Ferma, clearly anticipating Negan to go for a universal carrier and wanting to have a counter to it at hand. Third section there for Negan. No Vickers machine guns yet. Section heading for the Coh point. Folks will have to counter attack and defeat that. Sturmpaniers could also assist. And there you go, Kuban now just sort of pulling around some of Negan's troops there by the nose. Okay, now for Ryan, folks are dealing with section Sturmpaniers. There we go. We've routed to deal with that as well. And the Kuban there just drawing away the universal carrier still. Caesar's getting a bit more resource over Negan overall, at least for now. They still need to stop that section. There we go. Sturmpaniers, Negan's becoming a pretty bad spate. He seems to have forgotten about it. And there we go, almost losing the entire section. Managed to bring up. At the same time, the folks were able to use this brief mistake there, attempting to get closer to the section, forcing them off the point here. So he was able to manage something there. University coming down like Kholodny Ferma nearby. Apparently Negan is not anticipating Caesar to have rushed out like Kholodny Ferma in anticipation of a University sets in aggressively around the Coh point. And that could prove to be a bit of a mistake. You will see though. There you go, Kholodny Ferma shoots and spectacularly misses, giving Negan here the go ahead to get the hell out of there with the University with barely any damage suffered. Of course, now he knows to be more careful since he now knows Caesar very much has like Kholodny Ferma. Oh no, he still pushes at it. He is pushing his luck there. He's pushing his luck very much so. Troops are reinforcing medikits down there for Caesar. Could indicate he's planning here for the mechanized regiment and pushing out Lux here versus Negan. Of course, Negan already taking up. He would likely also be going for the AEC to counter an anticipated Lux. We'll have to see that then again, seeing as those both sort of anticipated responses. Caesar might instead be planning a battle group headquarters and just trying to push ahead for a schwerer punch headquarters with some armor. We'll see what it ends up between these two players. Small skirmishing here, no upgrades for the Industrial Sandbags up north, sappers on the way there for Negan and the 11th Armoured. 12th SS slowly approaching, fixing up the Kubelwagen there, which did suffer some damage against those Tommies. Following pushback sections advancing in the centre there, Volksgrenadiers and Kholodny Ferma on watch. Well, he should more or less have the resources for the mechanized regiment soon, and instead goes for more Volksgrenadiers here. Now the player having yet to commit to a doctrine. Sandbags up here, good thing to do there. Surprisingly, it took a long time before anyone just considered laying down sandbags. That's the point, rather than relying on the wrecked tank here. It's like, so have wide off the only cover here. Maybe if only we could create our own. Yeah, Helmut. If only we had these sandbags which you're holding right here to provide cover for us. Yeah, what a shame. And of course, this highlights that sometimes things just progress in a weirdly pace, because for a lot of players there's an extent just a lot of routine in it. So when something it can take them a long time to just catch on to something that's in many senses a really obvious idea afterwards. But there you go, Sturmpaniers trying to rush double sections. Turned out to be a really bad idea, and he just quickly pulls back like Kholodny Ferma to get out of there. University coming up, Fulton's been retreated. Still no sign of a trap there for Caesar. He's definitely got the resource now for the mechanized regiment, and then the ability to push out a Lux. Though of course Negan is potentially setting himself up for the counter. Yes, indeed, he's got the AC requisitionally upgraded. Now just needs to get it in and he's going to be able to in fact get it out here before Caesar can get out the looks. Of course, the question is, will he get it before, will he get it after the looks? Because if he doesn't get it until he gets out the looks, it might lull Caesar into a sense of, full security, but then goes it, and then Caesar hits it back with the AC. We'll see what happens there. There's certainly some mind games going on here between these two players. Some mind games. Almost got the schwere Wehrmachtschlepper done. A half-track though spy designed for these in front where things were a lot more muddy. And that's pretty much the reason they began doing all of these sort of half-track transport trucks. Basically exclusively for the Eastern Front, where they couldn't rely on the road networks for the most part. So the sort of city in the Western faction is kind of a bit funny since, in a sense, they aren't quite as necessary there. They also committed a lot of Opel Blitzers for the Eastern Front by basically strapping, tracks from Universitas onto the Opel Blitz and creating the Opel Maultier. Little fun fact there, at least so the other sort of smaller track vehicles. And they're going for the AC, he's not going to wait here. And Caesar actually does go for the Battlefield headquarters, so he is probably anticipating here the AC. He's not going to bother with anything, that might be countered. Of course, the Puma is just going to be countered to the AC, and he doesn't particularly feel invested in that. So he's just going for the Battlefield headquarters, a bit delayed here. But of course, on the other hand, does ultimately allow him just to push for Schwerpanzer headquarters faster and getting out Panzers and Obersoldaten faster. That way, sort of trying to circumvent some of Negan's elements. Sabbath push from the Coh2 on Netflix moving in. He's going to need support from the Kubelwagen. Kednev crewing about there is going to have to retreat as well. And there goes Sappers being spotted. Kubelwagen rushing in. It's basically a contested point by the Flux covering fire here. Kednev needs to retreat. Oh dear, oh dear. Ah, there we go. And he's about to lose the Kubelwagen. Oh, that was a bit awkward there for Caesar. We can see Negan hit quickly, seizing upon the opportunity to hit further hard on the Coh2. Caesar's got nothing to stall this assault. Going for light infantry gun. For a bit of artillery. Not entirely sure we should have gone for this now. I think an MG34 would be actually a better choice here for Caesar. No, he's going for the flak half track. No, he's going for the light infantry gun. Looks like Caesar is acting a bit of a bout of doubt as he's unsure what to go. Oh, he's about to lose a Volkswagen squad. Oh dear. Kubelwagen and a Volkswagen squad would be quite a severe set of setbacks. And now digging his sandbag. That might be why he's going for the light infantry gun. He's anticipating Negan is basically going to try and dig in around his Coh2 there by going for a trench. Nasty move there by Negan. Truth reinforcing healing, but good anticipation there by Caesar. There goes section pushed back, but nonetheless Caesar's been cut off from his fuel and Negan has not. Plus we got the AC Mark III on the way, which is AC by standing for Associated Equipment Company, which was the company that made the AC, and it was in some ways made up from Associated Equipment because it was made up from a mix of heavy tanks like the Matilda tank and some other bits there and here and there. I think there was also some of the Valentine elements. So it was sort of, in fact, a really heavy armoured car. In fact, one of the heaviest in the war. And just, sort of bits of this and that. So sort of a bit of an interesting thing there. We got the line for gun firing off here. Basically meant to support infantry in attacks by providing more direct fire. Though as the war progressed, they were sort of slowly being overtaken by heavy mortars, who did the job better in many ways. But even then, they sort of made updated versions of them. For example, one that was basically based on the Pak 40, but had a slightly smaller gun, or shorter gun basically, still could do a lot of damage. Oh, got the universal carrier there, mine, and Kednev takes it out just as he's upgraded it. Bit of a painful loss there to Negan, but still he's got the Coh2 on there, locked down hard against Caesar. So Caesar is still very much not having an easy time of this. But generally I think there was about 6 of them per sort of unit, sort of battalion. I think they're sort of attached to an infantry regiment, actually sort of heavy company, and be about sort of 6 of them each, and there'd also be some heavier versions of those in the 15 centimeter schwere Infanteriegeschütz. So they had about, I think, like 2 or 3 of them. Actually, it might just be 4. Actually, in fact, scratch that. Yeah, it's 6 per howitzer company in an infantry regiment, because I realised I got a big poster called Weapons of the German Infantry Division, which actually shows it directly to me. Of course, that's for the early war, but I doubt they sort of switched it heavily down as the war progressed those weapons anyways. It's a little fun fact there. Little fun fact there, just need to look at the poster. But yeah, they have 2 of the heavy ones per howitzer company in the infantry regiment, or the heavy company as was sort of more known. So a little fun fact there. Little fun fact there. The heavier versions was also used for self-propelled versions for the Panzer divisions, like the Grille, and the very early version was known as the Bison. So a little fun fact there as well. I kind of wish they'd actually gone for the griller for the Oberkommand vessels. It just, you know, sort of works nicely, I think. It was basically the same chassis as the Marder, by the way, just instead of a Pack 40, it was the 150mm Schwere Infanteriegeschütz. So a little fun note there. Heading for the Coh2 there with the Volksgrenadiere. Section setting up, we got bolters up there for Negan, pretty standard stuff. We also got weapon racks. Everything he now needs technically is grenades, and this guy is simply fully upgraded. He's yet to choose his doctrine though. At this point, he could begin using Commander Regiment. He could in theory also use Royal Artillery, but he was just, I don't know, messing about. I suppose there's a chance he's going for Royal Artillery, but Commander and Royal Artillery I think definitely sort of the better ones instead of Royal Engineers. Forces being pushed back, grabbing the point up here, the Vickers machine guns. He's actually gone for machine gun now. It's going to make it hard here for Caesar to use his infantry. And we got an MG-35 for Caesar as well. So they're beginning to bring up both suppressed weapons. And we got Scavenge for Caesar, Jaegers, Ostwinds. I hope he's not going to play straight for the Ostwind. Always finds to be one of the weaker moves. You don't have any armor up beforehand. In particular, there's the Brits who can just quickly take out and bring out a counter to it. We will see here what Caesar plans. We shall see what Caesar plans. Over here, troops healing and reinforcing. Your armoured car listing through in the south with the sapper section flanking with the minesweepers. From north, Sturmpioniere advancing for das Vaterland, but there you go, got the Vickers in the way, and there you go, meet this person, the Sturmpani. Caesar hits retreat as fast as he can, and we got here a second Kholodny out. They should reasonably soon actually have the resources to go for a Schwer Panzered quarters, in which case I like to set up around here. Some players will set up about here just to cover the cutoff point, but personally I prefer setting up around here. That way to cover both the fuel and the cutoff point, plus a bit further down here, and it's going to be a bit easier just for the enemy to target. But again, that is just me. Volksgrenadiere setting up, more sections on the way there for Negan, and we got a lot of Bren guns going up here. Wow, he's actually going incredibly heavy on the infantry. 5 sections now. Bren guns up. In that regard, actually, the best option would be Commander Regiment because it has assault, smoke radiation, all this, which sort of works well with it, plus mortar cover. That's going to work extremely well with an infantry heavy build. Royal Artillery is probably the second one. There's some other artillery support here. Royal Engineers basically does not work particularly well and actually goes for command vehicles to support the infantry, which most players are not very likely to do, but it could be an option if Negan's just going to sort of play at something you don't usually see. But so like for the immediate benefits, I would say Commander Regiment probably stands out as one of the better ones there. Smoke support for them. Assault basically just buffs them. Mortar cover can quite useful for supporting them and make it harder for the enemy to defend against such an assault. But he's definitely going to just sort of chunk them up there. That's going to, I think, force Caesar to consider or commit to one machine gun to try and stop this. And even then, he's going to have them especially set up with heavy cover position to have a chance of stopping this. At this point, though, he's not taking up, though. Definitely also should go for that. At worst case now, he's might try and play for the Ostwind, which is going to mean he's going to be vulnerable, of course, to a Cromwell when he counter like that. And of course, we're then struggling even more to have anything to deal with that and pressure his opponent harder. So we'll have to see how that ends up. Section in the centre, they're trying to push through machine gun fire. There we go. Jaegers out appearing right behind. Caesar looks like he's going to try and go a bit more in the offensive here versus Negan. Try and threaten some more markable points here. Steel Punch being held back with Vickers section again. Noting here, Negan actually switched his machine gun to avoid artillery fire, but also just to surprise Caesar a bit, I imagine. So, good usage there of the machine gun by Negan. Good usage. Volks standing about here. Volks is just standing about there as well. We got increasingly large number of assault rifles up here for Caesar. Caesar still not taking. Certainly makes it more likely again. He's playing for the Ostwind, which is definitely one of the more worrying Oberkommando West moves. Not if I'm playing against them, obviously. I mean, that's a great move for me, but not so much for the Oberkommando West player, unless you're completely unprepared for it. And while Negan in some ways is unprepared for it, he's still got the AEC, which can actually stall the Ostwind reasonably well, so it's not without its risks here for Negan, I mean Caesar. But I suppose when seeing as nothing else, though, there might be a few openings, and there's also just the threat, though, at the same time, of the Cromwell, which is going to really just ruin Caesar's day. Even if he's got 2 Raketen nerfers, it's going to make it a lot harder for him to use his Ostwind like he wants to. So there are some definite threats here in the south. Grabbing points here, grabbing points there. There you go. He's not playing for the Ostwind. He's going here for the Schwer Panzered quarters. He just needs to set it up. I mean, he could also be going for the Mechanized Regiment. I just hope he isn't. Again, Ostwind, and I don't feel that's an amazing move. Negan, though, continues to remain reluctant to go for Doctrine here. I'm still unsure as to what is keeping Negan from going for one, though. I'm unsure as to what is preventing him there.
A capture point is being overrun.
Fair, the Amax level setting up. There you go. Fuel for being harassed. He's got to counter-attack first so he can do something there. Hitting the Coh one there, but just in the nick of time they got the Bren section moving in. And successfully pushes back those dastardly Huns. There you go. Counter-attack, but ultimately the point is still rendered neutral, which will delay him. In theory, you could actually just sit it around here, in which case he can still cover them. Of course, it's more vulnerable trying to tank fire through there. And he's still going to need more infantry support. Oh, he's setting up just straight on the Coh point, which could theoretically still cover the fuel point as well. So that should work. And he actually reasonably soon be able to go for a Panzer IV. Or if he's really been threatened by the Cromwell that's going to hit him in a few moments, he can go for a Yak Panzer. There you go, infantry moving in. Scheisse, Schwerpanzer got spotted. Yeah, he's forced to cancel. That's going to be a huge setup back there for Caesar. Huge setback since he actually lost a lot of resources. Things came out about the trucks there. He only gets much resources back as they got health left. So if they lost like 50% of their health, you only get 50% of the resources back from it. So that ended up being a bit costly there for Caesar. That's going to hurt his tech. That's going to leave him a lot more vulnerable now to the armor from Negan. And that's generally also why I want to ensure you have some white cordon around where you're setting up your Schwerpunted quarters. Like those sort of hyper-aggressive moves there can work out, but if they don't work out, they're going to be quite costly. And that's basically what happened here for Caesar. He got punished by Negan, who's now going to punish him even harder with a Cromwell, whereas again now Caesar's only got like Kholodny. And what it could have been, you know, fast tank out there is now not. And in fact, he now has, you know, further falling behind and risking more armor from Negan. So things just got a lot more difficult for Caesar. And obviously a lot easier for Negan. A lot easier. And there we go, he's just bunching up his infantry. We got now Caesar's better anticipating how he's moving. But I do think at this stage Caesar might want to consider committing to another MG34 just to help deal with all these infantry hordes here that Negan is throwing at him. So there you go, second Schwerpunted quarter setting up, this time a bit better behind, better covered up. Jaeger's trying to get the point. They were trying for an infiltration move there, it didn't quite work out. Ooh, Blobhot there, could try and grenade assault here, and there he goes, going to go for it. Actually almost ends up running his own cover. But there you go, Cromwell on the move, there you go, Jaeger's need to fall back. Kholodny Ferma can in theory support a bit. Bring in the other one. Now the Jaegers just need to retreat, they exposed utterly there in the open. Kholodny Ferma lands a good hit there in the Cromwell tank. In the south, we got forces advancing. She's getting more aggressive in the south. Good. But the Cromwell is nonetheless a bit of an issue. We got a mortar placement up here. Negan has had enough there of Caesar's artillery, and of course Caesar's just sort of parking in around here. He's going to try and counter it with a mortar placement, which is definitely a pretty solid problem there for Caesar to deal with. Really aggressive play there. He's going to try and for it. Now has to fall back before the house gets taken out there by the mortar fire. Incendiary grenade slightly suppresses it for now, but even then, like Ken was able to do much. And again, this arrest the Cromwell just moves up, shoot the house, and then collapses the entire thing. So ultimately, Caesar makes the right choice. But of course, now things are going to get further difficult for him because the mortar can actually lock down a significant chunk of the map here for Caesar. Huge chunks of infantry moving ahead. Him, you've heard full firing up there. The advancing troops, armoured cars smoking back, falling back. Hordes partly halted there, slightly others troops are pressed as well. But I do think Caesar really wants to commit to another MG34. But at least he now can sort of protect this better with the Schwerpunted quarters, which is going to make it harder there for Negan just blob rush it. He's going to have to commit some armor and to tank weapons to deal with the Schwerpunted quarters now. So that is good. Chancellor's North, though, is encountering British resistance, ADCs and whatnot. Noting by I don't think Negan's actually mining at all. Granted, most of his munitions been going towards assault rifles and smoke screens. Oh, assault rifles, Bren guns. And he still hasn't gone for a doctrine. Yeah, it makes me worry he's going to play for the Royal Engineer Regiment and the AVRE, which generally tends to be sort of incredibly short-sighted decision. And oh, he's almost got the mortar in place, more with his light infantry guns. By the looks of it. Good work there by Caesar. But there you go, got the coming into counter alongside the mortar emplacement. But it's likely going to lose it anyways. Sab is a bit too slow to repair up north. AC in a bit of trouble as well. Yep, emplacement went down. Got to work there by Caesar. In short, that Negan did not get actually that much value out of it. Following up with another Sam, perhaps realising he needs more to repair his things. So the distraction of the mortar emplacement, Caesar got himself a lot of reprieve. That was a pretty good distraction there. Denied Negan a ton of value. And of course just protects a lot of his troops and particularly protects his position by the church. You can actually soon go for a Panther 4. He could also go for the Yak Panther very soon, though I don't think he's going to go for that. Negan, I meant, is going to go for another Cromwell. I mean, Caesar could also transfer out for the Panther, which wouldn't be a bad idea either. And he has in fact gone in for another MG34 in response to the severe infantry hordes here Negan is throwing at him, which is definitely a good response. And yeah, Negan kind of went for the route I kind of hoped he wouldn't go for. Again, he's clearly just playing this for the AVRE, which is just kind of boring, but also really just means he's not going to get much value from the Doctor Law, except maybe if he uses a designate command vehicle. But as a rule of thumb, if they're going for the AVRE, they're rarely considering designate command vehicle. They may also just go for nothing else, maybe vehicle crew repair. So overall weak utilization of the Doctor, and over again I just feel like a weak doctrinal choice that does not work with the rest of the strategy. I mean, that's sort of the worst thing about these things from my perspective, like they're just completely losing out on any ability to work with the rest of the Doctor. And I mean, at least for this one, for example, it's got the infiltration tactics work for a lot of his infantry. The Yakers, scavenge, only sort of just a high utility ability. And in theory, the Osprey down the road can also be useful to supporting vessels on the infantry, and the artillery is also handy. But this one just, I mean, it's honestly one of the British weaker regiments. That's also one thing honestly could also work. I say, commanders, but then that might require more work, to be honest. And then it's going to benefit from designate command vehicle being made a bit less rubbish. Oh, he's been changed out a bit. But even then, I'm not entirely sure that's going to be the best. Anyways, we should see what happens here between Caesar and Negan. Caesar can now go for the Panther 4, but he is probably at this point realising again he's going to get hit by more medium armour, so he wants a Panther which can sort of more easily duel it, though even then it's going to be a bit risky, to be honest. Sturmpeony being pushed back, coming up here for the AC. And you've heard 4 coming up there as best as it can. Forces retreating right past the sharp hunted quarters, and the light infantry gun is generating a bit of extra value there for Caesar here and there by just sniping some Tommies. Negan's going to need this Cromwell repaired. Is he actually playing for it? He's actually going to try and stay up for the AVRE. I think he is. I think he is actually now staying up for the AVRE. I mean, the Panther's going to get decent value for that unless he like massively misplaces Panther. So right, yeah, I mean he can probably make good use. He can still get some good wipes in there and force him to be more careful. But like long term, the AVE just, I don't think it's going to be the best of choice from this. Like Caesar just begins something massively sloppy unit preservation, or suddenly gets tired, or I don't know, gets drugged by a mysterious stranger that walks into his house with, you know, a large amount of chloroform. There you go, Panther on the way for Caesar and the 12th SS. Panzerdivision Hitlerjugend, the last SS Panzer Division to be created. Formed from a cadre of men from the 1st SS Panzer Division. It's a fun fact. Machine gun there getting absolutely blasted with the Cromwell in the section. Need to fall back. Academy also needs to get back here. Huge push here. Panther almost done, but there you go. Academy in a pretty bad spot here. Negan making very successful push in the centre as Caesar scatters his force a bit elsewhere. And we've got a big infantry push here supporting the tank. This is overall very well. Like the only way it could be better if you actually had a command vehicle to support the infantry and the tanks as they advanced. Which could, in this case, easily be the AC, to be honest, as it has less utility besides for its ability to target treads. There you go. Calling in the funny, I mean technically all of the variations of the church and some other vehicles were known as the funnies. They were Hobart's funnies. So it's the basis sort of an engineer that sort of modified a lot of British vehicles for, you know, when they attacked in the Normandy. He's cleared the Churchill aviary as amongst others. So a little fun note there. Panther going straight for the AC. We've got a trench up here. Good spot by Negan. Very little cover for the enemy to stick to as well. But there you go. Tries to mobilise the Panther, get away here, but ultimately get a chance for somebody else to destroy it. Shot bounces and... oh, still got it though. Church collapses as the AV destroys it. But really does no damage, but still it does deny Caesar proceeding to fight from there. Another option in theory could be to turn the aviary into a command vehicle. I've seen some players do it since it doesn't get particularly slow from it, and its, you know, speaking ability isn't particularly affected by it either. So it's an option. Plus advancing here, taking further from the Cromwell and the Sappers charging forward to the Sten guns charging in. Panther moving in, going straight for the Cromwell, full something wiped out. AV almost ready to fire, got the Kenneth moving in. Good hit. Panther exposing its reach to the Cromwell is a bit of a mistake here. Got a Kenneth still in hands of Negan as well, so that's also the reason why you don't want to expose the Panther's rear towards the enemy. In fact, Panther commanders were always instructed to keep the front towards the enemy at all times because, you know, the rest of the tank was pretty much weaker. Artillery called in here to help disrupt Negan's blob. Panther moving ahead again. There we go, good hit on the block. It doesn't wipe it, but does leave it severely weakened. He's almost got the Cromwell with the Panther. Caesar going aggressive, using the disruption of the artillery to try and get the Panther. AVRE falling back here, fired a shot. Got a 1 kill. Smoke's been down for the Cromwell, but Caesar and Germany doesn't care. Goes to the Cromwell and does destroy it. Nice attack there by Caesar. Risky, but considering Negan has been mining and, you know, hadn't gone for anything else, I mean, it was reasonably safe though. Good hit there, the AVRE. The AVRE so far is not proving to be a massively amazing investment there for Negan. And again, it just sort of highlights that overall rolling the years was a mistake for Negan. At least for now, it to me at least feels like a mistake for Negan. Huge infantry push here against the Germans. Big kills McKinnon from the Panther here. Caesar might be extending versus the Kholodny effort. But he's still lucky this is pretty much also the only anti-tank weapon Negan has. He's got no Piats, he's got no mines even. No 6-pounder guns. There's a lot of things he doesn't actually have here. And Negan just continues to blow up here. He tries to... oh, he gets it with the AVRE! He gets the Panther with the AVRE! Looks like Caesar was not anticipating to be ready this fast and loses the Panther. Now that was unpleasant. That's a big loss. And the area then is still very much alive. That's actually going to be a problem. That is going to be a problem there for Caesar. So now he can fix it, and Caesar does not have a good counter for the AVRE now, because versus the Kholodny he can just shoot and destroy them. So that is going to pose a bit of a tactical challenge for the German army. Going for another Kholodny effort, a bit ambitious, but I suppose it's the best option. And we got there, just using the self-repair ability, so we can just push everything out to the front. Push back against Caesar as fast as possible. We got Monty down from Caesar, very good choice. That's going to help slow down the Churchill aviation moves ahead there. Big push into the south. MD-34, they're not quite well placed actually behind the heavy car. The machine gun itself is exposed, so it might go wrong, but then again in this case halts the infantry section, though we got another flanking about in a few moments, and looks like here Caesar says, oh, he just retreats, he doesn't risk it anymore. So what will Caesar go for next? Will it be a Yak Panther? Will it be a Panther 4? Will it be another Panther? I mean, the Panther 4 is going to be pretty tricky versus the AVA to do anything against. The Panther and the Yak Panther are probably his best choices, since they can consistently penetrate the armour. And Negan, he's clearly anticipating some kind of counter to his AVA. He's going for the Firefly, since that's going to be, well, the best counter. Mines being laid down as well there by Negan, finally. Baker setting out here. So Negan is now back in control of the map there, having destroyed Caesar's tank. AVRE setting out again. Okay, Caesar is going to play for the King Tiger. That's a pretty risky move considering the circumstances. That is a pretty risky move. I'm not entirely sure I'm a fan of that.
We're losing a capture point.
I'm not entirely sure I'm a fan of that one actually in the current circumstances.
Our forward position is
Because it's going to be quite some time for him to get it out, and just Negan's going to push him harder, and he still doesn't have a serious counter towards the aviary, meaning he can do a ton of damage to Caesar in the meanwhile. There you go, huge chunk of damage dealt to the Schwer Punted Quarters veterans in one game, which just makes it reload faster. And there you go, Ken over on the up here. This is quickly turning ugly for Caesar in random ways, which is actually going to force him into the King Tiger, because he didn't go for anything else or just aim for the King Tiger. He's no hard coded into it, meaning if he does not get serious value out of the King Tiger afterwards, that's going to be GG. Because he's not going to have anything to fall back on versus all this. There we can open up the ADOE. Got to the Panther he's definitely trying to destroy it. If he can actually stall more successfully for the King Tiger. And there you go, does get it. He does get it. So that has bought Caesar the reprieve he needs versus Negan, but this I think could still have been avoided. Oh, wait, Mechanus revving up there for Caesar. Ooh, lightning gun there, snaps for Gerald. Blowing him to chunks. So he's got the Firefly left here for Negan as he waits for a counter, which there isn't anything, or anything to counter specifically, but there's anything for it to counter yet since Caesar's aiming for the King Tiger. We'll have to see if Negan anticipates that, then goes for another Firefly or Mines, or what he does in response to this.
A capture point is being overrun.
Straight push for the centre, halted by the Firefly and some infantry, but they are actually quickly dispersing. And the Fireflies, well,
Trying to take it.
got Ludwig though. In fact, it's so far only been killing infantry and got 4 infantry killed so far, so that's actually not too bad. It's not too bad. Jaeger's hunting out there. Both of them are ready to deal with any armour. So it's basically using the Firefly as a regular tank in the absence of an actual tank. And that is an option there. That is an option. Back here, reinforcement healing. And the current sort of pace of things, it's going to take him about 4 to 5 minutes to get out King Tiger.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
Caesar has a lead over Negan in victory points, so he might be able to work it out. But of course, the question is, what does Negan follow up on the Firefly? Does he try to play for another EDRE? Does he maybe aim for Comets, Churchill tanks of regular kind, or just Cromwells? I mean, anything to do to pressure Caesar before he gets out the King Tigers are really good at it. In fact, we see Caesar's going for another Kholodny Ferma, so he's clearly stalling for time. He's trying to just wait for the King Tiger and hope that one can crash Negan and his spirits. Push for the cough on there by Negan against Caesar. That's going to slow down the King Tiger for sure, unless the Fulls get in there in time to actually block the point. He doesn't, though. He does not. A few casualties inflicted. Nobody hasn't actually salvaged any of these for extra fuel. That's actually something you could do there, you know. Would be about at least 10 extra fuel plus, I think. Is it 13 extra munitions? It's a 15 munitions, but no, he can't get any off the AVRE anymore, so that's a small risk opportunity there by Caesar, to be honest. Extra resources would definitely have benefited Caesar's King Tiger plan. So that is a bit of a shame. There's even the theory, some of the cases, you could actually salvage the AC there as well. So he has lost out on, I think, a total of 45 munitions and 15 fuel here. Don't know about the Panther, that one's too far way too easily secured for it. And there we go. He actually does go for another Churchill AV. Depending if he uses better than the last one, he might be able to break through. But the problem is, if the King Tiger hits it, the AV is going to be a lot less useful in a lot of circumstances. So we'll have to see what Negan can pull through with. But he does have that AV out on the field, his second one. Cannon fire a Churchill and a Panzerfaust. Promise, but this help we might not get a damage engine. Yup, in this case also bounce, so no damage from the Churchill on the rocket there. Troops advancing, huge chunk, huge blob. Then infantry to support the Churchill. We've got one machine gun. The problem is it struggles a bit with blobs, particularly if there's any kind of light cover. It comes back out for it to actually stop any of the blobs. About 2 minutes or so to go before Caesar can call in the Königsjäger. Meanwhile, Negan is just chucking his blob forwards, and Caesar's just pulling back all his machine guns. Since the MG34 just struggles with these kind of light machine gun blobs, the Brits like to throw at them. But he's going to need to counterattack here because all his Negan's going to die in fuel, and that's going to further slow down the King Tiger, allowing Negan to bring out more armour and control the field further. We'll have to see what it ends up with here for Caesar and Negan. Negan's AV though is being fixed up. Almost good to go again though. Can certainly fire again. North of Kednev stalled here with the Stump unit. A small yet heroic fight. And now the AV sets out again. More mines down for Negan. Lightning the guns blasting away there, closing in Veteran T4 actually. Hit on the sappers. Oh, there he goes. Finally salvaging the Schwerpanzer quarters just a bit late, and he lost his MD34 there to the AVRE. But he was able to get off enough damage for the Kenmers to force Negan to further just pull it back instead of trying to maybe linger about a bit. So there you go. Bit of extra resource there for Caesar. Will slightly speed up the King Tiger. Slightly. He needs to recruit that MG34, and he needs to set up behind heavy cover this time around so he can better be protected from the infantry blob's assaults. There we go.
The enemy are at 200 points.
AVRE receiving repairs again. Cadmer's moving ahead. Points there secured. Oh, Bren gun left behind. Look at this, Otto. It's a Maschinengewehr. Yeah. That's pretty handy there for him. Particularly to benefit from now that some of the bonuses here. In particular, the range there, so they can actually shoot the light machine gun a bit faster. Oh, not faster, but further. Blah, that was some rubbish English. But he's not moving up the Jaegers to support, he's just using them to harass and grab for victory points back. In fact, he's bleeding out now compared to Negan, though. Negan is still low. And there you go, got the King Tiger out here for Caesar. And the 12th SS. AVO, they're good to go, quick wipe some units there. Jaeger's repositioning, not wanting to get squashed over the AVRE, but there you go, shoots. He could then actually move back towards the victory point, but decides not to. That might be because there's more preoccupied what's going up north. We've got a huge engagement here. We've got a large blob there from Negan just sweeping forwards, and he's lacking any counters to it. The King Tigers, I think, is heading southwards to try and catch the AVRE and destroy it, at least damage enough to force it off the field for some time. We'll see what it ends up with. Pulls the thing forced back. King Tiger stalls up for a bit. There's no machine gun being added, by the way. Keine Maschinengewehr. Of course, he needs to keep marching with troops nearby, because if that King Tiger gets a mine, it's going to be a lot less impactful. And there he goes, straight into a mine. Straight into a mine. Generally, you want to support your big tanks with the minesweepers. And in fact, heavy tank battalions usually had their own sort of infantry supports to war went on. Particularly, they had a pioneer company attached to them. I imagine, particularly for sweeping from mines and dealing with them. It's a little fun fact there, But there you go, Aviator going straight forward. He actually makes it easier for his King Tiger to hit that way. But, triple kidnappers does get, but there you go, 5 flows up. And the Aviator goes down. Was not expecting a King Tiger supported by 3 kidnappers, so it's still stuck there to an extent. Suffering some damage. But beyond the Firefly, though, he's still really short on anti-tank weapons. And overall, the Aviator was just a mistake. If he really was anticipating a King Tiger, it was a mistake. There you go, damage in the Firefly as well here. King Tiger being put back for repairs. Heavy tank battalion will also usually have its own escort infantry. Usually some reconnaissance troops, I believe, are sort of attached to it to partly, do reconnaissance for the tank itself, but also just act as escorts. Little fun fact there. I think they actually had their own half-tracks too, 250 half-tracks. If I'm not entirely mistaken. Section change to the Bren-wielding Jaegers. Yeah, how do you like a taste of your own medicine? Halfway to victory. 5 Fireflies. I think again he's going to need another one. If he's going for another AVA, though, he's clearly just stopped thinking. Northwoods, they're pushing back a section. King Tiger setting out. Firefly, you got a kidnapper there and the Firefly. You need to pull the King Firefly out of range of the King Tiger. He does, and he fires the rocks instead, which does help. But he still lacks overall firepower to bring down the King Tiger fast enough. And he's still only got 1 Firefly. Partner secure mine of sandbagged up, jumping into the sand. Because here, King Tiger shooting away for Deutschland.
We've 75 points remaining.
Looking pretty bad for Negan. He's barely got any counter for the King Tigers. In fact, got mostly infantry blocks, which are easy targets for the King Tiger. There we go, section wiped.
Enemy got one of our squads. Your ABRE funny? It's ready.
And I think at this point Negan has just stopped thinking. I mean, you do not go for a third AVRE versus a King Tiger. I mean, at this point I think Negan has just stopped thinking. He's just at this point where he's just not caring anymore. He's tilted, I don't know, but he's just pushing him with the same things. Despite, at a certain level, he knows they're not working, but at this point he just doesn't know what works. So he's just sort of throwing the same thing at the wall and somehow hoping, that's going to, break the pattern. Wipe the squad. Well, kidnappers fire there. Recruiting like kidnapper there, but just being wiped by the King Tiger. Firefly being fixed up, but again, there's the King Tiger, so it's going to be a tall order. And with triple kidnappers being about, there's going to be even worse there. And Caesar does support tanks. There you go, we got the Ottoman from the north. This one, any infantry that comes up this AVRE from the front. Taking it down to half health. Firefly this close in the 2. We got the King Tiger advance, got Kenneth pushing ahead here as well. Infantry 6 getting away, that's going to make it hard for the Kenneth to follow up, but the King Tiger can still advance here for Germany. Deutschland. Shots fired there. Got some of the kidnappers wiped. But the question is it too late? And he's down to 37 victory points. There's still a King Tiger. There's still plenty of infantry support, and his infantry is getting bled out. Firefly though does have infantry too, which does do wonder for it. With a better rate of fire and whatnot. But the AVE is not helping out Negan a lot at this stage. It is not helping him out.
We've 25 points left.
25 points. King Tiger moving in, that's going to take one shot, and there you go, down he goes. Firefly shoots, penetrates the King Tiger's frontal armour. Up north, the Horseman's jumping unit, in the south, Jaegers hiding out. And the centre, we got the King Tiger ready to block anything. 10 points left. At this point, it's clearly GG. Negan has no way of winning this. And overall, it just largely boils down to the role. Well, not just all to the role engineer choice, but it was definitely, I think, one of the bigger mistakes because it's just one of the weaker doctrines because it doesn't particularly work well with anything else. And it really just makes it a weak choice between them playing for the aviary and your opponent just, counters it, which is what C's Ultimate did there. Partly with the Panther, but, he kind of threw that away. And then with the King Tiger, he just really limited what he could do with the aviary. So that really did not do Negan a lot of favours. Tossing, he just went for only a single Firefly. Now, it went actually very heavy on the anti-tank weapons, which is definitely another mistake here versus Caesar, and which something Caesar was able to punish him for. Plus, the infant blobs, while initially powerful, increasingly ran into issues there, partly, again, thanks to the King Tiger down the road. So, it was just sort of a bit of a flawed strategy there from Negan, relying too much on cheese, and not too much on actual Brett, to carry himself forwards. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, one, subscribe to your friends, shared it with everyone. If not, send in a replay of your own and provide some feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Dancing Cheese. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you all tomorrow for another stunning episode. Bye.